That young man. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
Joining us now is CJ Pearson, RNC Youth Advisory Council co-chair. CJ Pearson, thank you so much for joining us, especially today, a day where we are all mourning at Charlie Kirk's death. It still doesn't really feel real. You've known Charlie since you were 12 years old. I mean, we all feel like we've known him, we've watched him for years, just being so brilliant. But he was with you when you were just 12. Can you share with us a bit about that time?
You know, it's insane to talk about right now. You know, yeah, you're right. I've known him since I was 12 years old. I'm 23 years old now. When I was just starting out in this movement, making videos in my childhood bedroom, growing up in a Democrat household, he was one of the first people in the conservative movement to reach out to me, to encourage me even when my parents weren't encouraging me. Wow. Someone who did that for many people in this movement, many young conservatives. He would reach out to them and say, "Hey, that was a great video. That was a great interview that you did," because he was dedicated to building up and uplifting the next generation of conservative leaders. And if that is the legacy that he has, I think it will be an incredibly righteous one.
Absolutely. I mean, talk to us about the impact that he had on last year's election result. I mean, Charlie Kirk and yourself, CJ, you two were able to get young people and turn out to vote Republican in a way that had really never been seen before. I mean, the huge wave of Gen Z voters voting for Donald Trump. I mean, speak to us about how he was able to do that.
Yeah, Charlie was instrumental in all of this. You know, everything from, you know, the infrastructure that Turning Point USA had on college campuses all throughout the country to the incredible ballot chasing efforts that he led in key swing states. This was a man who was an integral part of President Trump's return to the White House. And I think the president has spoken to that. You know, we wouldn't have been able to turn out young men in the way in which we were, or young voters altogether, without the tireless effort of Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk's incredible leadership. And so, you know, there's a massive hole left, you know, in our party right now, in our movement right now. But again, to the point that I made earlier, this was a guy who was always focused on building up the people that would succeed him, even at such a young age, right? You don't think about successors at 30 years old, right? No one thinks about that, but he was always someone who believed in building up the next generation. And it's, yeah. He's incredible.
He absolutely is, and I think so many of us just feel like we do know him and we've seen his journey for a long time. Like, he's been kind of fighting for conservative voices bravely for such a long time. I mean, here is Charlie Kirk back in 2012 on Fox News.
Chapters nationwide with Turning Point USA, and on our website turningpointusa.net you'll see the unbelievable positive support we're having from my generation. And using these memes, we're able to engage them in such a unique and exciting way. We're going to open a chapter every single day leading up to the election, and kids are starting to wake up, and they have to, because the fiscal cliff is coming, and if we don't get our fiscal house in order, our country's never going to be the same.
You know, looking at that, I just feel like he was so ahead of his time, wasn't he? He had such a strong vision, and he dedicated his life to making America better.
You know, he absolutely was. You know, for a lot of young conservatives, he was absolutely the blueprint, you know, for how we could figure out how to make an impact, how we could, you know, do what we could do to make America great again, but also the important work to keep America great. And so to see that video from 2012 and to see him sustain that incredible work up until now is a testament to just how dedicated he was to making sure the American dream was attainable for his children, which I think is, again, another tragic element of this story. He was an incredible father, a husband. He leaves behind two incredible, beautiful children, and my heart breaks for him, for them, and his family as well.